What's up, guys? This is the final part of my WrestleMania 32 review. Now, before I get to the main event of the night, I want to address the promo that took place not too far before the main event, which was the incident between The Rock and the Wyatts. You know, this thing here, the stuff they said, was pretty decent and everything, but it kind of makes it where if this continues to happen, you are not doing anything to help Bray Wyatt's career. Because Bray Wyatt is supposed to be looking at as the eater of worlds. He's supposed to be looking at as this beastless monster. But all the stuff they've been putting him in, it's just making him look weaker and weaker and weaker. And then you start to really wonder why they're doing these things. Why they throwing him into all these things and it's not doing anything for his career. Look, the man has not won a championship ever since he's been in WWE, and that's a shame. He should have won something by now. I even made a video talking about the reason why he needs a single run, because this is getting really ridiculous. But, I don't know what the thing was with this WrestleMania, with the whole idea of letting the old guys shine. I will say that it was funny, and like I said, I was looking at the highlights of it, and The Rock, rock bottom Eric Roman and beat him in 6 seconds. I mean, that was pretty. Eric Roman obviously is the worst person on the Wyatts because he's always the one getting pinned all the time. No, it's not really the rest of them. But then John Cena came, and I would say this was a good moment for John Cena since he couldn't wrestle this year at WrestleMania, but he was able to make an appearance there. But my question is, like, how much further are you going to really go with this? And, at this point, why do we really need to see Cena and The Rock deal with the Wyatts? I mean, why? But that's just how that is. That's just what I got to say about that. It was good and everything, but, it would have made more sense had they made Bray Wyatt look stronger in this thing, because really they just made The Rock look extra more powerful than him, and the words and what he did just bury him and stuff, and that's just crazy. But I don't know what it was this WrestleMania. That's why I didn't like when they had it was one thing when they attacked the New Day, but when the Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, and Mick Foley, when they had when Austin stuttered Xavier Woods, I didn't like that part at all, because I'm just like, come on, man. I don't understand that, so they can have the spotlight. But then you get to the main event. Now, I know a lot of people will probably not agree with me on this, but this is just my opinion, so you don't have to agree. Me personally, I did not have a problem with this match. I actually think that this match was a really good match. I mean, look, everyone knew that Roman Reigns was going to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, so I don't know what the issue was. And I mean, I think a lot of what they did, I think this match is pretty good for him to win this and stuff, for it to be as long as it was, because I mean, Triple H got a lot of moves going. He was able to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that he brought into the table that made the match look really good. And I mean, Roman Reigns won, but I mean, come on. We all knew this was going to happen. We knew that Roman Reigns was going to win. Now, one thing I will say is that, like I said, they did a heck of a job for him to win this the way he did. And I don't understand why everybody was saying that, about them letting him win clean. I mean, would you really want him to win in a dirty manner? Or would you really want it to be? I don't understand that. I mean, I don't understand why everybody was complaining about him winning clean and everything. I just don't get it. I mean, the match, it took him 3 times to spear him to win it. It wasn't like it was just one spear and he won. And Triple H had a lot of advantage in this match. I mean, he did. It wasn't like Roman Reigns just beating the heck out of him and stuff. It was a really, really intensive match. And I just had, I just gotta say, for them to be wrestling for the amount of time they had, okay, the main event may have not been the best main event, but you can't literally sit there and be all up on Roman Reigns' butt because of it. I mean, come on. And then another thing they said, in which I sort of agree with this is the reason why the main event wasn't that good was because of how long WrestleMania was itself, because the pre-show that they had, and because of the actual main card, because of so much ideas they were thinking about with that stuff. I can kind of agree with that, but I mean, it was, nobody asked, they really, I think this was one of the worst things they did this year. They should have made 3 matches at the pre-show. It was no point. It was no reason for that. They should have never did that, because, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't even talk about the pre-show, because I don't really care about the pre-show, honestly, because I don't know what it is, but a lot of times during the pre-show, maybe one match or so, it's just not really, it's not really something you really would care about, especially this one. I mean, we all knew that the Usos we knew they were going to win, and the Ryback and Kalisto match was kind of pointless because it was almost like something you would be watching on Raw or SmackDown. But this is why I don't talk about pre-shows, because I never really care about pre-shows. I do agree though that may have had an effect, the fact of how long it was, but they should have been thinking twice when they decided to put all these matches on the card and then put 3 of them in the pre-show. I don't think it should have never happened in the first place, to be quite honest, because it was just really just a way to put them in WrestleMania, and I don't understand that. I do feel bad for the Usos, the fact that they have not had one WrestleMania moment yet, because all the WrestleManias they've been in have been pre-shows. They have not been on the main card, and I do feel bad for them for that, because last time I checked, they have not been on the main card in no WrestleMania that they've been in. So that match, to me, I don't have an issue. I didn't have an issue with it, the Roman Reigns and Triple H match, because, I mean, it was, going back to what I said, a lot of the stuff was predictable, and that was one issue about this WrestleMania. But at the same time, it was one match that no one had ever expected, that Zack Ryder was going to win the Intercontinental Championship match. And then you got to think, if they had kept Triple H champion, what was he really going to do with it? I mean, Triple H is a part-timer. It'd be better off having Roman Reigns as champion than having Triple H as champion. He's a part-timer. And that's the thing. I particularly hate part-timers, because they sit there and they barely defend the championship. They just defend it like once a month, or, especially when Lesnar was champion. He only defended it twice out of the whole time he was champion. I hated that. I didn't like that at all. I just don't like those people that do that kind of stuff. And Triple H is one of them. And I mean, if he stayed champion, what was that really going to do for him? Nothing. And I mean, like I said, looking at the match, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't one of the worst matches I've ever seen. I don't know why it's getting so much heat. And I know that I would get a lot of heat for what I'm saying. And that's what I said. It's fine. I'm not saying I'm a Roman Reigns lover, and I'm not a Roman Reigns hater, but at the same token, I just don't get why, everybody is going to keep getting on Roman Reigns. And I mean, because this match wasn't bad to the point where, oh my God, why did I pay my tickets to see this thing if you were there? I mean, and he was getting booed at the arena. Lay this man some slack. So, like I said, Roman Reigns defeats Triple H at WrestleMania 32 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, how I think it would have been better. Now, I will say the build-up leading up to this match was pretty poor. But the match itself, Triple H had a lot of moves he put in arsenal. I think it would have been better had he used the crossface since he likes using that a lot. But he had a lot of moves he put in arsenal. And Roman Reigns, he didn't do a lot of moves. That's one thing a lot of people complain about. But he still did as much as he could. And like I said, all prompts to Triple H for a lot of stuff he did in this match to make it interesting, to make the fans get into it. And that was one thing they were cheering for. But come on, guys, we all knew that Roman Reigns was going to win this thing. We knew they were not going to have Triple H win this thing. It was pretty obvious. I don't get why it's so much heat on Roman Reigns. I mean, come on. The match, for me, honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I think it was pretty decent. I think it was really good. I don't know what I would rate WrestleMania as a whole, because that would be kind of hard for me to rate it. I don't like rating things. And the fact that there were matches where some people didn't get put over. Then you had the matches where it was predictable, but then at the same time, you was like, it was that kind of thing. So that's really all I got to really say about this, because there's nothing more I can really say about it, man. This is only what I'm thinking right now here. WrestleMania as a whole, like I said, I don't know what I would rate it. It was a mixture. Jericho and AJ Styles match, as I said before, it was an okay match and everything, but I just think that they need to put AJ Styles to rival with someone else now, because Jericho will beat him, and this should be it for them. They shouldn't keep rivaling after this. I mean, there's nothing more that they need to continue with this storyline. And like I said, it was good and everything, but it would have been better had they had AJ Styles win, because, like I said, this is really doing nothing for Jericho, because Jericho even admitted in an interview that he would, at this point, winning and losing doesn't mean anything to him. He be with the Fozzies now a lot, and that doesn't really affect him. And then, I talked about Undertaker and Shane match on the other video. I was saying about that match. I was saying, after watching it and everything, it was good for the time it had, but I can kind of see why people were a little bit disappointed. But just looking at it, I could see that the Undertaker, because I know Shane McMahon, he was never a fully active wrestler. I could just see that the Undertaker needs to leave. He needs to be done with this. This is it for him. This needs to be his last ride. That's why I said it would have made more sense had they had Shane McMahon win. But I knew and figured they would not do that, because he was at his home place, and why would they have him lose there? So that's what I think about this WrestleMania 32. So now I can finally wrap all these videos up, and hopefully everybody pay close attention to these videos, and this one will probably get the most hate, which I pray to God it doesn't. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do that. I will talk to you guys another day. Peace.